Welcome everybody to a Lessonface production of Meet the Violin. My name is Melissa Salguero and I'm here with a very, very special guest who's going to teach us a little bit about the violin.
Hello, my name is Katherine Fong. I'm a professional violinist. I play at the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. I've played there for 22 years now. Oh my gosh. And I'm here to talk about the violin.
I'm not a violin player at all. I actually play piano and I play trombone actually, but how do you know where to put your fingers on this? Because there's no, like guitars have frets, but there's nothing there. How do you know?
That's a really interesting question, and I will answer it by bringing out some props that I brought. This is the first violin that I ever played on. It is a 1/16 size violin with a bow that has red hair. And if you look closely, you'll see that there's tape on the fingerboard, which is what this black part is called. And that's where you put your first finger, second finger, and third finger.
So how old were you when you started playing this 1/16 size violin?
I was 4 years old. And actually, I started for the positioning on a cereal box with a ruler taped to it, just to get the positioning. And if I dropped it, you know, my parents wouldn't cry. But you put it under your neck. The first thing you do is you stand, you face this way over your foot, and your chin is lined up, and then you reach out and you stick the violin and you put it under there, and then put your neck down. And that should be it. So you're not jutting your neck forward and you're not using any strange muscles that will cause tension.
What did you transition to when you got a little bit older?
As you grow, the violins grow with you. It's like a magic trick. So I also brought, this is a 1/4 size violin. So I guess I was like 10 when I played on this.
How do you know like what size to pick out?
That's a really good question. So you have to get your teacher to measure you for the right instrument. And what I did when I was little was you hold your wrist out, and if your wrist can go beyond the scroll, which is this lovely curly part, comes out to about here, that should be the right size violin for you. Every violin is tuned to the same pitches. And the first string you'll learn is hopefully A. So let me show you on my real violin, because I'm too big to play those tiny violins. So when you first start, you want to learn your A string. That's usually the first thing someone plays is taka, taka, stop, stop. Or I like chocolate ice cream, or whatever it is you like.
I like that second one.
I like matcha lattes.
Oh.
Just saying. And then you learn the E string. You shift your arm a little lower. Right? So now you have. Then you're going to learn the first finger. And you're going to learn your second and third. And with that, you've learned exactly where you're going to play your A major scale, and you're going to learn how to use the bow. This is the Suzuki method that I learned. You can use long bows. Or you can also learn different, faster bow. So you can use that as an etude to basically learn how to play the violin.
The bow has always, like, how does it work? Because you said it was hair, and I don't understand how that is making that beautiful sound.
Okay, so most people, they say, I want to play the violin. They don't really think about, there's a bow involved. The bow is as important, if not more important, than the actual violin, because without the bow, you're not really making any sound, right?
Right.
This is your vocal cords right here. So bow technique is so important. It is made out of horsehair and Pernambuco wood, a good bow is. And you have to, getting the right bow hold is very, very important. how I started was you just rest your hand like this, and you can stick a pencil in there, but don't tense your hand. There's a placement for every part of your fingers. So index finger should go here, middle two fingers should go over the frog, which is this part with the little mother of pearl dot.
Oh.
And your pinky should go on top of the stick like a ballet dancer. And your thumb should be bent. And that's it. That's a perfect bow hold. So you have control so that you can start at the frog and draw a straight bow and have the right amount of tension and weight and control to manipulate the stick.
So on the back of your violin, I'm noticing there's almost like a pad or something.
Yes, this is called a shoulder rest, and many people play with a shoulder rest because it's sometimes to put the violin without any padding, it can be a little painful. It can be a pain in the neck, literally. If you notice, like many violinists have a little mark from practicing. They have a mark there. So you can spot a violinist on the street, like, aha! You're either a vampire or you're a violinist.
Hopefully the latter.
But hopefully the latter. But I have a Kuhn shoulder rest, and it's totally adjustable. Let's see, because you can make it higher or lower. It's like these sort of screws. You can make it higher or lower. You can push these in or out depending on how wide your instrument is. If you don't want to go with one of these, I started with a sponge and a rubber band. So get some padding under there and make it comfortable so that you're not using extra muscles.
What is one piece of advice that you would offer to somebody who wants to learn to play the violin?
I think for a beginning violinist, if you really don't know where to turn to get a violin, you can go online, you can find violins anywhere, but I would suggest going to like a reputable violin shop that sells violins and the whole outfit with the case and the bow, and you can get that for like a couple $100s from, I would say, like Southwest Strings or something like that, that they're very reputable. And for someone that is looking for, say, a new violin, like an intermediate or advanced student, take a friend with you and try a bunch of violins and feel what's right. It's like meeting someone for the first time, and you want to, make sure you get along. If something doesn't feel right, you want that feedback from your friend, and you just have to feel it for yourself.
How crucial is it for beginning players to have a teacher or instructor help guide them when learning the violin? It looks, a little challenging at first. What do you recommend about?
Nowadays, you can take with anyone in the planet. Like, for example, Lessonface. It's so great. I wish I had that when I was little, where you could study with so many great people. It's right at your fingertips. It's important because you want to be set up properly. You don't want to learn something the wrong way so that you're going to later regret either hurt yourself or not be able to do something technique-wise because you just learned a wrong hand position or something. So you want to start well, have your teacher really monitor exactly your positioning and make sure you're not using any muscles that are, not useful.
It would be me who gets to play with a professional musician, and I'm like, I don't know.
We're going to play the Bach double violin concerto
Oh,
after
my
this.
God.
So pick up the bow. The bow goes in the right hand. So what you want to do is hold your hand out like this, like, yes. I will have another cupcake.
Oh, my violin, $2 million.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, slowly put your two middle fingers over this black part, which is called the frog.
Right here.
Yeah. Thumb goes curved inside.
So from under curve, like
curve.
this.
Very good.
Kind of like waka.
That's like rock on.
Okay, cool.
Then you put your index finger on the stick.
Lightly?
Lightly. Everything is lightly. You're never grabbing the bow. And make sure it touches just above this knuckle, the second knuckle.
Got it.
Okay.
Second knuckle. Okay, I think I'm doing pretty good so far.
It looks very good.
Thank
and then
you.
you've done this before.
I don't know.
Okay, and now the pinky goes on top like a ballet dancer. Tippy
On this.
on the very top.
Okay.
Remember your setup. Let's start from the beginning.
10 out. Do you have to do this every time, or does it become muscle memory?
It becomes muscle memory.
Okay. Going out. Flexible. In. Okay. Got my frog. Here we go. Thank you for coming to my concert.
I can't wait.
Waving at myself. There's a lot to remember.
There are. It's just
But,
steps.
You know, here we go. My first notes on the violin.
That's it!
I'll tell you what, I did not expect to be able to play the violin after this, but I think you and I should go on tour.
I think a world tour is going to happen.
You know what, let's just leave it with the mini violin. That could be like our thing, you know? Like, thank you, and thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Is there such thing as an electric violin?
Oh, sure. There is an electric violin. I used to play electric in a rock band. Don't tell my kids.